Okay, perfect. Well, hey, y'all. We'll try and keep this as quick and painless as possible. We just wanted to do a quick kind of know before you go as folks are prepared for HIV Speaks on Jones Street on Tuesday, just kind of outlining what the day will look like, what to expect, where you need to be, all that good stuff. So we will just jump right in. So next Tuesday, hard to believe, in less than how many days is it? 5 days. We're going to be at HIP Speaks on Jones Street talking to legislators all day long. But here's a kind of a quick layout of what to expect for the day. So we are at a new location. So if this is not your first time, this is a new location. We will be at the North Carolina Archive and History Division, which is literally right next door to the NCGA, which is great. 109 East Jones Street. All of this will be sent out in an email on Monday to help folks get prepared. But we will open up registration at the building at 8:30. We will also have light breakfast and coffee for folks to join. Our morning program will start right at 9 o'clock and will likely go about an hour and a half. So we should be wrapped about 10:30. After that, we will have a group photo before we all descend onto the legislative buildings for legislative meetings between 11 and 3. Directly after the morning program, as with the group photo, we do encourage folks, particularly for this day, to wear red to kind of represent the HIV community. It's always great to see kind of a sea of red. So if you have something red, definitely make sure to wear that on Tuesday. And then legislative meetings, as I mentioned, will be from 11 to 3 at the NCGA. We'll go in a little bit deeper as to kind of how to navigate that building. And you will also have lunch during this block, which will be at the NCGA cafeteria. Meetings will go from 11 to 3. Then we'll have a little bit of a break time. And for folks who are able to stick around, we'll be doing our kind of after-hours celebration at the Raleigh Wine Shop from 5 to 6:30, which is a short drive from the NCGA, but there's street parking that's pretty easy to access at 317 South Bloodworth Street. Next slide. All right, so when you get there at 8:30 on Tuesday for registration, when you go up to the registration booth, you will be greeted by our lovely Rita McDaniel, who will give you your registration packet. In that will be a personal folder with your name on it, as well as your representatives, their office location numbers, and then if there is a meeting that has been able to be scheduled with that representative, it will have a time beside that representative's name as well. Excuse me. That way, you know if you are meeting with your legislator at a specific time, and it'll tell you who exactly those legislators are. That'll be on the front. Inside will be a page with your team. So each group will be broken up into teams based on where you are in the state with an exact schedule of your day for every office visit at the time, their office location. And then if we were not able to get a meeting scheduled with those representatives, they will be underneath for you to just drop in and speak to their LAs and potentially them if they are there. You will also have two leave behinds of our one pager of our policy talk for the day that you will leave with your representative. Everybody will have two. You will likely not need to give out all of them, but that way we have plenty. We will also have a couple of policy handouts to help you navigate kind of having those conversations with your representatives of what we're talking about during the day. And then inside the folder will also be your lunch voucher. It'll be a little business card with our logo and a date stamp that you will take to the NCGA cafeteria, which is in the basement of the legislative building, which we'll talk about in a little bit, where you can just get your lunch, hand it over to the cashier, and we will take care of lunch on the back end. So you don't have to pay for lunch. That will be included for you. And then I will also note that throughout the day, we will have reimbursement for parking for folks who are driving in to where we can just hand you some cash to help you pay for the parking because most of the lots will require some money. Next slide. All right, so we have gone through the morning program. You have registered, we've gone through the morning program, and it is now time to head over to the legislature. So as I mentioned, you'll receive your packet with your registration and schedule visits with their office locations and the policy materials. And then you will be assigned with folks from your area of the state as a group. So you will not be going to any of these meetings by yourself. There will always be someone with you to have from your area to talk through this. These meetings are scheduled between 11 and 3. Some of them are going to be really close together. Some of them are going to be a little bit apart. But every group should have some kind of meeting scheduled, hopefully. And I will note that meetings will take place on your packet. You will be designated with either an LB, which stands for Legislative Building. That is the picture that you see right here. This is the main building of the General Assembly where the chambers are and a handful of offices. There are also going to be offices in the Legislative Office Building, which we will talk about in a little bit, which LOB, and both of these kind of have different number designations, but we'll go into that in just a second. Next slide. All right, navigating the NCGA. It is a little bit of a maze. It is, as someone who has been doing this for nearly 9 years, it is still a bit of a maze, and I get lost every time that I go in. So we're in this together. So the main building of the NCGA is the Legislative Building, or the LB. And these are the offices with 4-digit numbers on their number. So if you have on your packet, say Representative so-and-so, LB 1002. If it has 4 digits in the number, it will be in this building. And it has 2 levels, so it'll be either 1 number, or 2 number, but it's 4 digits will be in the main building, which is the picture we just showed. This is also the same room that, or excuse me, the same building where lunch will be. You can see the 2 hamburgers. There are 2 staircase. There's a staircase and an elevator that will take you down to the basement to go to your lunch. This is the main building that you will need to go in for 4-digit meetings and for lunch. And it is broken into 4 what are called courts. So there's the 1,000 courts, the 1,100 court, the 1,200 court, and the 1,300 court. Kind of goes like a reverse clock, counterclockwise. Throughout the day, directly upon the entrance from Jones Street, which is where you will go in after you leave the archive building, you will enter through Jones Street, and directly to your right will be the 1,000 court where that red flag is. This is where an NCAN staff member will be stationed all day long, so that if you have any questions, if you need any help navigating the building, need extra handouts, whatever that may be, somebody from NCAN will be in the 1,000 court throughout the day to answer those questions. So main thing, Legislative Building LB, 4 digits is within this building, which is the picture we just showed. Next slide. Now, there is also a couple of meetings that will be in the LOB, or the Legislative Office Building. So if you look at this picture in the very center where the 2 flags are, that is the Legislative Building that we just talked about. And then directly behind it to the left is the Legislative Office Building. So if on your schedule it says LOB and 3 digits, it'll be taking place in that building. So when you enter the main building of the NCGA, we are in the forecourts that we talked about. There is a back exit / back entrance of that building that will take you directly to the LOB with a little bridge that takes you there. Very, very short walk. But it's the large gray building directly to the left once you exit the NCGA, in between the 1,100 and 1,200 courts. I will note that when you enter the Legislative Office Building, you will be on the 3rd floor. So that would be like 301. So you are not entering the ground floor, not the 100 level. It'll be the 300 level when you enter the Legislative Office Building. Next slide. I will note that whenever you enter both of these buildings, you will have to go through a metal detector and send all of your belongings through an X-ray screening conveyor belt situation. It's going to be a lot like TSA whenever you go through, so it does get a little bit backed up. But you will go through the metal detectors. It's important that whenever you put your bag through, you will have to take out any large electronics. So I think like iPads, laptops, anything bigger than like a cell phone will need to be taken out. Your pockets will have to be completely emptied. And this is a frustrating but important note that you have to take out your keys from either bags or pockets or clipped on wherever. So your keys and big electronics have to be removed and put out separately as you go through the security. It feels like TSA every time you go in, and it can get a little bit backed up. So make sure that as between meetings, you give yourself a little bit of time. We try to schedule meetings out to where if it's between buildings, you're able to get in and out of security fine. It might be a little bit of a tight squeeze every now and then, but we have tried to do it to where you've got a little bit of time between. I will also note that every time you go in and out of these buildings, you will have to go back through security. So there's no way to go between the LB and the LOB without going through security every time. It's frustrating, but I think once you go through it the first time, you'll get the hang of it and it'll be pretty quick. All right, next slide. A few reminders for folks as we kind of plan for this day. It's important to note that legislative schedules can change really quickly. So the representatives that you're supposed to be meeting with can be pulled really quickly to committee meetings or general sessions sometimes. So it's important to remain flexible. It can be really frustrating whenever you're planning to meet with someone and they got pulled to a meeting. Um, but that is just kind of the nature of the beast. I will also note that we have got these meetings scheduled 2 weeks out, and we've got a whole list of every single meeting that we have. And without a doubt, that morning I will get 100 emails saying these meetings have been changed. So we just got to be flexible. It's frustrating, but we will get through it together. But it's also really important to remember that even if you don't have a scheduled meeting with your representative, or if you do and it gets canceled and you just have to meet with the legislative assistant or legislative aide, those are still really important contacts to have because they really kind of steer the schedule of the representative. If you make an impact with them, they can pass along your information. So it's still really important, even if you don't meet with the specific legislator, to meet with their LAs, to leave the one pager, talk to them, tell your story. And a lot of them will take a lot of really great notes to pass on to the representative. So really great contacts still to make whenever you are meeting with these representatives. And finally, it's important to remember that representatives do work for the people, so you have the right to the conversations that you're having, and you are the subject matter expert, so take control of the conversation. Next slide. Now, when you get to downtown, downtown Raleigh is not a fun place when it comes to parking. We recognize that, and that is just the way it has to go whenever you do something in a downtown area. But these are the two parking areas that I would recommend based on where we are. So when you look at this map, the little red flag is where we will be meeting for morning registration in the opening program. The building directly to the left of that is the NCGA, so you can see it is just a block away. The best places to park would be the lot on Wilmington Street, which has the gold star on the right. It says parking lot. You can enter either via Jones Street or Edenton Street. It does fill up quickly, but luckily when we're getting there, we should be able to secure spots there. That is going to be the closest and easiest place for you to park throughout the day. There is also a deck a couple of blocks away in the Green Square parking deck, which is off of Edenton Street. That is closer to where we used to meet, the History Museum, but is still within walking distance. So cost for parking, so there will be reimbursement for parking. Typically, you will pay no more than $12 for an entire day in these parking lots, which you should not be there the entire day. But we should have $10 bills for folks to use to offset that cost. So if you need reimbursement for parking, we will be in the 1,000 court to administer that, and I will also cover that at the morning program. But both of these are pay areas, and it's normally about $10 for an entire day. So those are the two best places. We will also send this information in an email on Monday whenever we do kind of our final last minute thing so that it's easily accessible for your GPS. Next slide. And then advocacy after hours, as I mentioned, is our kind of like after celebration to debrief the day. We'll start at 5 p.m. at Raleigh Wine Shop, which is a short drive from the GA. There is free street parking after 5 o'clock in front of this. So that should not be an issue for you, but it's pretty close by. So that is where we will be having advocacy after hours from 5 to 6:30. Next slide. Just kind of a quick refresh for folks that we do kind of recommend as you go into these groups. We will also talk about this on Tuesday morning during the program to kind of lay out how you want to have these conversations to where you have someone who is going to introduce the group, someone who is able to share their personal story about how HIV has impacted them or the people that they serve, someone who's able to kind of talk through the facts of things. So whether that be transmission rates, the number of people living with HIV in North Carolina, yada, yada. It's important to have that. Someone to kind of take notes about how the day is going to go. And then someone to engage with social media, whether that's taking pictures with legislators, tweeting at them, which not called Twitter anymore, but I digress. Instagram posts, whatever the like. It's great to have kind of these key roles to help you navigate these meetings so that you have a blueprint. You can never know exactly how a meeting is going to go, but you have a blueprint of how to lay it out throughout the day. And then last slide. This is my contact information. This is my direct phone number. I will say if you want to contact me via phone, I would suggest texting me. I'm a lot better at answering a text message than a call. Email is probably the best way to get in contact with me. You will be getting email communications with me likely tomorrow and on Monday. But any questions that you have about anything we've talked about outside of today, feel free to reach out. And with that, I think that is most everything. We will stop the screen share and see if anybody has any immediate questions. Let me also look in the chat. Yep, we talked about parking. So are there any questions that we can answer? I know that was a lot really quickly, but I think the kind of biggest thing is knowing where you're going, knowing we're going to start at the Archive Museum, then walk a block over to the NCGA, that the LB is 4 digits. That'll be that first building that you come to. The LOB is 3 digits. That'll be behind and to the left of the legislative building. And then lunch is going to take place in the LB, which is that kind of main 4 block building next door to the Archive Museum.
I do also want to say that if walking is a concern for you, we will make an announcement after the morning session of somewhere that you can meet if folks are not mobile in that way. And we'll make sure that we get you a ride around the corner and over where we're going.
Yes. Which luckily we should be a lot closer. So hopefully it will be easier to get to for folks. But definitely if you have mobility concerns, we will make sure we make an announcement to help you get over there.
Also, we are really like gearing up our social media for the day to make sure that beyond just the folks who are with us on Tuesday, that folks across the state who are impacted by HIV and hepatitis and harm reduction understand what we're advocating for and can join us in putting pressure on the General Assembly. So if you are interested in social media, you're good at it, you have a platform, I'm going to put my contact information in here as well. Please reach out to me. There are going to be some opportunities that will come up during the day, but also that we can plug you into beforehand, so that you can so you can help be an advocate in that way.
I do have a quick question. This is my first time going, but I think you answered this question. I work in Gaston County, but I live in Mecklenburg County. So will I be meeting with Mecklenburg's representatives then?
Let me, when you completed registration, did you use your home address?
I cannot remember. I can't remember what I did last week, much less a couple weeks ago. So,
That is totally fair. I'm in the same. I can't remember what I did about an hour ago. So
yeah.
I'm in that same boat. Let me quickly look on the registration and I can tell you. Vivian Perlman, is that right?
Yes.
I have I think you put a Gastonia address, so that is the office
Okay.
that you schedule with, if that is okay, which is honestly
Okay.
would be better because we have such a big Charlotte group. So if you are
Okay.
willing to talk with those Gaston
Yeah.
representatives, we would love that.
Yeah, not a problem. Like I said, that's where I work and where like my focus is. So I couldn't remember which address I put, but that's fine.
Perfect. Yeah, that would be great because those are more difficult conversations that we need to be had for sure. So excellent. I did have a question in the chat of folks asking, if someone asked anything that we can bring or people normally bring. No, honestly, just yourself. We will have everything that you need at registration. I will say, like when it comes to, we normally have people ask about what to wear. Wear what you are most comfortable in. I will likely be in kind of like a business casual, like maybe a button up and some khakis. But if you are more comfortable in t-shirts and jeans, that is totally fine. These people work for you, so wear whatever you are most comfortable in. But there's not really anything else that you need to bring because we will have notebooks for folks. We'll have your registration packet, your lunch information, breakfast will be there. So unless it's just stuff that you need throughout the day, don't feel like you need to bring anything else. Just yourself will be enough. And then they also asked again about location. So location, we are starting at the archive division, which is right beside the NCGA, 109 East Jones Street. The NCGA is literally across the street. So parking and the location for everything are all within a 2 block kind of radius. But this is all happening in downtown Raleigh. All of these addresses will be sent to you on Monday, kind of the day before, outlining, so you'll have exactly where to put in for GPS purposes. Um, but it should be pretty easy to navigate. Once you get to the initial building, we're all going to be together as a group. There's going to be about 100 of us. So somebody will be there for you to follow along. So it's pretty easy to navigate downtown once you're parked and in the initial location.
I have a quick question. If someone, hears about what we're doing and they're really interested in coming, it's so late that I know they won't be able to be assigned to talk to someone, I'm guessing. But how should we respond if someone's like, oh, that sounds great, I want to come? Should we say, come on down, or say like, it's kind of already coordinated, so don't come, kind of thing?
So I just dropped the link for registration. Registration does not technically close until tomorrow at call
Oh,
of.
great.
So we have until tomorrow. It is unlikely that if their representative has not already been contacted, that we'll be able to schedule anything, but I can still put in information on their representative to where you can drop in. So if they want a packet, definitely by tomorrow. I am hesitant to tell people to come on Tuesday just because there is unlikely to be packets for folks that we prepare at that time. We are not going to take anybody away, I will say that. And we can find a place for them. But we do encourage folks to register beforehand just for numbers' sake.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a quick question as well.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Is there any way I could get access to this recording?
Yes, we will be uploading it to our YouTube and sending it out to the list for folks who have registered already for the event. So yeah, you will definitely have access to it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. All right, Maggie, anything that I am missing?
I think that was it. Just a reminder to wear red for sure. It helps us. It looks great in the picture, but also it really helps like show our momentum and how many people that we have. When you're walking around the General Assembly, a lot of times there's maybe advocacy days for different groups. There's folks who are there for different causes. And when we all look really unified, it helps show how strong of a network we are. And also then like other people ask about it and they might be like folks who are with like allied causes that might want to, collaborate and work with us in the future. So wear red.
Excellent. And if this is your first year, you are in excellent hands with other advocates who have done this for years past. And as I mentioned, everybody will be in a group, so you're not going to be doing anything alone. And then NCAN staff are also there throughout the day to support. So if you have any questions or concerns, we will be there to answer and field questions. And these meetings have a history of being great. We have not had any real negative comments of meeting with representatives. It can be daunting if you've never done it before, but after 1 or 2 meetings, you are going to be all set and you are going to be a seasoned expert. So it's going to be a great day. We're really excited. This is my favorite event of the year, even though it is very stressful to plan. I am very excited about it. But I know Maggie dropped her information in the chat. This is me. I will drop mine. So in case anybody would like to reach out, and keep an eye out for emails as well, as I will be sending out some final logistics as we get closer to the day.
Sorry, I had one last question.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's about the social media. When you're referring to like the social media, like for people, are you talking about like taking pictures? Like what are you referring to by social media?
Yeah, so we will have a social media toolkit, and Maggie, I will turn it over to you since you are the communication person. I'm not.
Yeah, we'll have a social media toolkit that we'll send out with all of these resources and also share the day of. And so it'll have like sample captions, some information that you can post, all the handles that you'll need. But we'll also have some opportunities during the day you can get pulled aside to like do little videos and promos. So if that's something that's really interesting to you and you want to have like more of a conversation with us about it, get those tools ahead of time so you can be posting and like prepping your audience. Feel free to reach out to me because I can go ahead and give you those resources.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and social media is also a great way to kind of stay in contact with the representatives after your meeting. Most of them have accounts, whether that be on Twitter, Instagram, or even Facebook, where you can kind of tag them and kind of keep that conversation going too, which a lot of them are very receptive to. You can take pictures with them to post. Most of them are more than willing to do that. So. All right. Any final questions before we wrap? All right.
Great.
Great.
Well, thank you guys all so much for being here today. And we're so excited to meet you in person on Tuesday and get to know you guys a little bit more and see what projects you've been working on and what brought you to HIV Speaks. So thank you for really joining this movement that we have. It means a lot.
Awesome. Can't wait to see you all on Tuesday.
Thanks.